Greetings and welcome to another of our monthly Q&A sessions with Jim McCarty. My name is Jonathan Tong and I'm facilitator for the Seattle Law of One study group. We can be found in the list of study groups at the L&L Research website shown on your screen. We do have a Facebook group and we do meet on Zoom twice a week, Tuesdays from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time, Saturdays from 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific time. You don't have to live in Seattle or anywhere near Seattle to join our Facebook group or our Zoom sessions. Anyone who's interested and available is welcome to join. Just contact us at seattlelawofone@gmail.com to get on our mailing list. We send out emails once a week with Zoom links and information on what we are talking about that week. And we do not record our Tuesday, Saturday Zoom sessions, unlike this. We do also have a YouTube channel where we keep recordings of the podcast episodes that we do record, as well as previous Q&A sessions with Jim McCarty. If you go to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button, you'll get notifications when we upload new videos. And contact us at seattlelawofone@gmail.com if you'd like to sit in on any of our Q&A sessions, like the one we're having today. We are once again blessed to be joined by our good friend Jim McCarty for some informal conversation and questions about the law of one and how to live it in our daily lives. How are you doing today, Jim?
I'm doing great. It's a nice, cool day here in Louisville, Kentucky. I've done a little yard work. Got some of my old plants that are frozen, chopped down with my trimmer. And the leaves have been taken care of, so I can concentrate on things inside, like gathering with my spiritual family on Saturday every month.
Oh, so wonderful to see you. Yeah, last time we talked was about a month ago, first Saturday in December. I don't think you had snow yet at that point. Have you had snow yet in Louisville?
We've had two snows, about 2 inches each. Not much.
Yeah, same here in Seattle. A lot of rain, a lot of cold rain. Had a bit of flooding there for a while, but no snow. And we're happy with whatever Creator gives us for sure. Well, I do want to go ahead and get to our questions because I know we had quite a few questions sent in by our Seattle Law of One study group on our Facebook page. And I know there's a couple questions in the chat window. So if you don't mind, I think I'd like to go ahead and start with Morris. I believe Morris had a question. Would you like to go ahead and ask Morris?
Good to see you again, Jim. Jim, my question had to do with the magical personality. We utilize the magical personality when doing healing work and other events, but what is the purpose for removing the magical personality after the working?
Well, Ross suggested that the magical personality gave us the ability to do things during the sessions that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. But when we performed the Banishing Ritual of Lesser Pentagram to begin with, we invoked the magical personality to protect ourselves from any negatively oriented entities that might want to interfere with contact. So Ross suggested that, especially Carla, but everybody, unless we felt we could keep that magical personality intact and not be distracted by anything, we should release it because it is a power that can be used against you if you can't keep that focus. So we always did release it during the sessions.
Well, thank you for that. You're saying it's a power that could be used against us. Could you give me a hypothetical example?
If we had not performed the walking the circle of one and we still had the magical personality, then our negative friend could come in. And if we had some thought that was not focused upon helping Carla to channel or Don to ask questions, if we were distracted in any way, that distraction could be used against us to further distract us.
Well, thank you for that, Jim.
Yeah. And I have a question for you. I'm working on the Camelot Journal entry now in 1982, and there is a fellow named Morris in the channeling Hatan, one paragraph. Is that you at the Waterson Trail House?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, I thought it might be. I thought you did a good job channeling.
Well, I was not a very good channel. I didn't have Carla's courage to just let it flow. I had to think about what was coming through, and that, as you know, deviates from keeps you from being a pure channel. So that's yes, that was me back in 82.
That's good to know. Do you remember who the fellow was right after you named Dennis? I don't know who that was.
I do. he was a fellow that participated for a while, was lifted by the messages, but then moved on, as we
Okay.
often see. That
Okay.
we're one of the light holders on spiritual path seekers, and they come by, get what they need, and move on. So we're glad to be one of the way stops for those seekers.
Yeah, yeah. People always have their own path. They stop here and there on that path. So I'm glad to know it was you. And very seldom is a name given. Usually it's a C, a D, an L, and J, or whatever. But it was Morris, and it was Dennis.
I don't know why, but yes, that was me.
Okay.
Are you going to be putting that into the Camelot Journal this time around?
Uh, it'll be in the journal. People can read it. It wasn't enough to work with, to comment on, to find other quotes. So
Okay.
you'll see it.
Thank you so much. And for our viewers who didn't know, Morris Hoagland, who just asked that question, is vice president on the board of L&L Research and has been vice president on the board of L&L Research for 40 plus years. Old friend of Jim's, Carla's, and Don's, and was there from the very beginning, before the Raw Contact. And it was mentioned a few times in the Raw Contact, I believe, if you search. So he's a regular on our Seattle Law of One Zoom sessions, he and his beautiful wife, Linda, as well as they joined other Law of One study groups as well. So I encourage our viewers, find a group that you vibe with, check them out, and great learning to be
I
had.
believe he's known Don since Morris was 8 years old.
That's right. Is that right, Morris?
Met him in 1963 when he was researching a UFO encounter.
Nice. Do you, I know you weren't planning on sharing this, but do you feel comfortable sharing a little bit of how you met Don?
It was a UFO encounter, one that in Fern Creek, Kentucky, we saw a craft. The craft landed. We saw the fellow from inside the craft, to make the story a bit short. And through an incredible set of synchronicities, Don learned about the story and came out and did a series of interviews with the four of us that were present and saw it, just to check out the story and make sure it was consistent. So, yeah, it's how we met Don in 1963.
How did your mother know to call the University of Louisville and get a hold of Don Elkins?
Well, that's one of the things that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Again, we're deviating from asking you questions, but what it was,
But it's pretty interesting, so I would feel free to
there's a
continue.
UFO landing. She's heard about this. She calls the police. They don't know what to do about it. They say, call the Air Force. So she called the National Guard, who actually sent some folks out to do an interview and sent a plane over the site to photograph. That took probably 7 or 8 passes, because there was a very interesting site in the forest area where it landed. We won't go into that right now. And then for some reason, she called the University of Louisville, which is a pretty big university. The call happened to go into the dean's office of the engineering school, who, this woman got the call, took the name and number, and just as she hung up, Don Elkins walked into the dean's office, who she happened to know was interested in UFOs. And she said, "Hey, Don, I just hung up on this lady out in Fern Creek that had this UFO story." So this is what I'm saying, the incredible set of synchronicities. And this is how the creator works. If you are supposed to cross paths with someone, it will happen in the strangest set of steps if you look back on them. So again, I'm deviating from your story here the purpose of this meeting is to talk with Jim. But yes, it was an amazing set of coincidences, and the story goes on from there. I mean, the history of Don's pointed efforts to share this information with the world, all starting initially with a curiosity about UFOs, but an internal desire to share it with the world, and eager to see the world take a step forward, hopefully with the aid of the euphonauts, as he called them back then, who were, he believed, here to help our planet. And of course they were.
Such a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, I have heard the longer version of the story, and there's lots more great details there to be found. And viewers, if you want to hear that, you're just going to have to sit in on one of our Zoom sessions or one of the other study groups that Morris and Linda sit in on, because it is a great story. UFOs, of course, being an entry point for so many into the Law of One. If it's okay with you, Jim, I think I'm going to skip the order in the chat window because I know Elaine had a question about the Camelot Journal as well that we had mentioned briefly. Elaine, would you like to unmute your mic and ask?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jim. Thanks for being with us again. It's always such a joy. Yeah, so my question, I read the Camelot Journal every day, and I see that you are reading The Art of Meditation by Joel Goldsmith right now. And so if you're reading it, I'm reading it, and that's because I need help with meditation, but I'm wondering what inspired you to start reading The Art of Meditation at this time, since you're such a prolific meditator?
I think it was about 7 years ago I first read The Art of Meditation. Then I read it 2 or 3 more times because it's not just talking about meditation. It's talking about how we live our lives. And it can be in what you might call a meditative state, but in a focused state where we attempt to keep that feeling of meditation, of the contact with the Creator with us as we move throughout our day's activities. And that is something that's very difficult to do. It's like trying to keep the magical personality with you, but it doesn't present any problem for you with anybody else having to, attack you. It's just a goal that we set. We try to see the Creator in everyone because the Creator is in everyone. The Creator created everyone out of itself to know itself better. So Joel Goldsmith, The Art of Meditation, takes that in so many ways and makes it so inspiring as to how we can live our life. So I wanted to share it with my readers so that maybe that some of that could be used by them on their spiritual journeys.
Well, thank you, because it's beautifully written. And you're right, it's very inspirational. I was thinking it was going to be offering, how to be a better meditator, which is my goal. But yes, it encompasses how to live in that meditative state. I'm only on chapter 2, but it's beautiful. So thanks for sharing that
No, my
with
pleasure.
us.
I'm glad you're reading it. I hope you enjoy
Yeah.
the rest of it.
Thank you.
Great question, Elaine. Thank you for asking. Prajwal, I believe you're next. Did you have a question you wanted to ask?
I do, John. Thank you for conducting this session with Jim. It's an honor to be with him, communicating. Law of One, raw material, has had a profound, effect on my life since I discovered it in my teenage years. And yes, my question is regarding the deep state controlling the free energy technologies that will solve all the energy crisis situation that we have worldwide. Why are they suppressing it? Because I believe there are so many talented souls from higher density have incarnated and found solutions for the energy, to be abundant, but they are not letting it fully be available to all the people. They are somehow able to suppress it so far. It's unbelievable with the current internet.
Let me go ahead,
everything.
stop you there, Prajwal. Jim, would you like to respond to that?
Sure.
Well, I think when you mention the deep state, you're probably talking about people who are not in the public view, in the eye. They're operating in positions of power around the world. I think there are a lot of conspiracy theories like this in existence. I think some of them could well be true. But as far as I know, I don't know who the deep state is or what exactly they're doing or what their goals are. But I know that whatever happens in the third density is something that happens for us to learn from. Everything is catalyst for here to learn how to see everyone, including the deep state, as a portion of the creator, our other self. And what we need to do is to love everyone, including those in the deep state, at least 51% of the time, so that we can feel the creator's presence in them, and they can feel a creator's presence in us. And as a group, perhaps maybe we could move together into the fourth density of love and understanding. However, many people could do that. Now, there aren't many people that are awake to that possibility. So Ross suggested that our potential graduation into the fourth density will be very few entities. But as many of us can do that as a group, we can do that. We can share the love and light of the creator to help anybody that is affected by the deep state in a negative way. That is what we're here to do. We're not here to talk about the deep state and how to get rid of them. They're here to do their role, to give us catalyst. And we can use that catalyst to grow and to love and to share with each other the love of the creator.
Beautiful.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Let's see. I think Michael was next, and Michael had a question that was in reference to something that happened when he was a young child. I believe, and I think he's asking me to ask the question for him, if I'm understanding correctly. If I remember correctly, Michael said that as a young child, his grandmother had showed him a church bulletin. They were part of a conservative Catholic church, and the bulletin referenced a man who committed suicide and was in Kentucky, and that it was framed as something related to demonic possession or something like that. I guess maybe the question he's getting at, it made a big impression on him because that, interestingly, was his first introduction to the Law of One. I think maybe the question he's getting at is, do you know if Don's suicide, was that like a story that was well known in Louisville? And is it possible that story had actually gotten out of Louisville elsewhere?
I think it was in the newspapers the next day, and a lot of people that knew Don Elkins knew who he was and what he had done. Carla and I always thought that Don's suicide was something that was meant in a deranged way, perhaps, to protect her from our negative friend, because our negative friend used every opportunity to try to keep her from being able to channel those of Ra. Anytime we had a thought that was a negative orientation, we had to try to balance that out. And so I guess I could cut to the chase here. 2 nights after Don had committed suicide, Carla and I had just finished making love in the office. And Carla saw Don in a waking vision. And he said, "You're not going to understand this, but everything turned out the way it was supposed to. And you'll have to go through death's door before you discover that." And so Carla's gone through death's door, and she knows how that worked. And I don't know exactly how that worked, but I know that we had 2 friends of ours. Ron Clay was my best man at my wedding, and his wife, Sonia Clay, was Carla's maiden of honor. And later on, about a year after Don had passed in a larger life, Ron and Sonia were making love. And when they were done, Sonia said, "Ron, I'm pregnant, and it's Don." And so about a year later, a little boy named Kenneth Clay was born. And 5 years later, I had him in my truck that now doesn't run, but then it did. We were going up to Avalon, where we had the land, 90 acres of land at the end of a road. As we were driving along the road, Kenneth looked at me and he said, "You see those clouds in the sky up there? It looks like the earth is moving faster than it is because those clouds are moving." And he held up his hand like this, and he put the cloud like this, and he was showing me how it looked like the clouds are moving faster than they were. And I thought, well, Kenneth, that's pretty intelligent for a 5-year-old. And then a few minutes later, we saw a jet plane overhead. And he said, "You know why jet planes can fly?" And I said, "No, do you?" He said, "Yes, there's more air pressure under the wing than over the wing." So Don flew the Boeing 727 for Eastern Airlines for 30 years or 10 years. So I thought, this might be Don.
Yeah, so beautiful. And I think it's just a great reminder that things that seem horrific and tragic in space time or in consensus reality, whatever you want to call it, can be very beautiful and have very different meanings in time, space, or metaphysical. So, yeah, I appreciate your sharing that. And I know you've shared that story before, and I'm always happy to hear that story because it's a good reminder of that beautiful soul and that it's just one of many mysteries which we probably won't understand here. Gina, I believe you had a question you wanted to ask about Carla. Did you want to unmute your mic and ask your question? Are you there, Gina? Your mic is muted. If you wanted to ask your question, you'll have to unmute your mic. Gina does not seem to be available right now at this moment.
Sorry. Hello?
There you are.
Hi.
Hey, Gina.
I'm sorry. I have bad internet.
No problem. We can hear you loud and clear. Go for it.
Okay. Hi, Jem. Thank you so much for being with us. And I'm so happy that I came here on Earth while you were here. Thank you so much for for everything that you did. When I found the law of one, it gave me foundation because there was a time I was so I was a Christian, but then Christianity started not to work for me. And I feel like I had nothing to stand on, like no, no history. And I didn't feel connected really to my family. So when I found the law of one, it gave me like foundation. It made me less depressed. And something to like look forward on. Like it helped me mentally a lot. So thank you so much. Thank you. I wanted to ask if you guys ever tried to call back on Carla, and is it something that's possible or it's not? Also, is it possible that one day we could actually have like a physical center for us where we could meet and meditate and have like a lighthouse, something like that?
Are you asking, Gina, if they have tried to channel Carla? Was that your first question?
Yeah.
No, we've never had to tried to channel Carla, but I have heard from people all over the world that Carla has been in touch with them, usually in their dreams or in meditation, and has had some way of helping them in their spiritual journey. That has happened so many times, I can't even count it. And for myself, after Carla passed into larger life, I had the next year, I had 100 dreams when she was in it. And she gave me various dreams that gave me information that I still use to this day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. Do you think if I call on her, she will come to me?
The third day after she passed into larger life, I was walking outside of my home on the other side of the garage, and I got that message from her. She said, anytime you want me, just give me a call and I'll be with you. And later on, I got a message from her that she was with me all the time. So I didn't need to call.
Okay.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great questions. Thank you, Jim. Vicky, did you have a question you wanted to ask?
Yes, I was wondering whether we should be doing the banishing ritual during the meditation, or sorry, before we start meditating. Is it necessary or not?
It's probably not necessary, but it would certainly be a good idea just in case anything would, come up that might be. If you start shining your light and loving people around you and sharing your philosophy with people that they ask you to do, then your light starts shining brighter. And the brighter your light shines, the more power is seen there by negatively oriented entities that you can't see, fourth density and above, usually just fourth density. So that would be a good thing, just to be
Yes.
just to be safe.
Yes, it makes sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great question. I do see questions from Josh and Neely in the chat window. I also saw that Corey G had sent in a question ahead of time by Facebook, and she's here in the session. Corey, would you like to unmute your mic and ask your question to Jim? Let's see, your mic is muted, so you'll have to unmute it in the lower left-hand corner of your Zoom window. Not getting it. Would you like me to ask the question for you? I have it written down. Jim, Corey wanted to know what the differences are between intelligent energy, intelligent infinity, and infinite energy.
Well, I think infinite energy and the intelligent energy are the same thing. Intelligent energy is usually associated with the indigo ray energy center. It's something that has the ability to become the creator at various times, but the times are short. They're not permanent. Intelligent infinity is the violet ray energy center, that where if you can use the shuttle from the indigo ray to the violet ray, then you can become one with the creator. But that requires a lot of work beforehand. All the other energy centers below must be fully activated and done so on a regular basis, on a daily basis. And then if you can circuit that consciousness into the spirit of the intelligent energy of the indigo ray and then the violet ray, then you can become one with the creator. And then you are something similar to Jesus Christ or Buddha or Lao Tzu or any of the great seers and mystical entities of all major religions in the mystical aspect.
So beautiful. Would it be fair to say that then that intelligent energy is another word for love, light, or light, love?
Yes, the short answer.
And that intelligent infinity is another name, as it were, for the one infinite creator, also known as the one original thought?
Right.
Nice. Yeah. Really fascinating. I love those terms, and I think that's something I've appreciated about the Law of One is those particular terms that I've never seen anywhere else that I think really make a lot of sense and connect well to a lot of other teachings like chakras and energy centers, as you indicated. Corey, did you have any follow-up questions on that? Did that answer your question?
I do have a follow-up question, Jim. I don't know if I can phrase it as I'm thinking it. Do you practice the infinite, the one where you connect directly to the pineal or the what is that, the indigo ray? Do you practice that? Have you got there, or do you not use that in your practice?
Well, that happened for me on July 12th, 1972, when I was at the Adventure Trail Survival School in Black Hawk, Colorado. The purpose of the school there was if you could find the problems in your early life that you discovered as a child that would keep the intelligent energy of the creator from moving from the back of your skull to the frontal lobes, then you could reach that point where you could activate the indigo ray energy center. But this was done by using dreams to discover what things as a child you were programmed with that were keeping that happening, because most of us are programmed that way. I think we program ourselves that way, and it manifests in how we're treated by our mother or father, our neighbor, our teachers, or someone we've met there that they're an adult. They tell us that we're no good, we're not smart enough, and we believe that. And that's basically the consensus reality, that we live in this reality where there's nothing more than this reality. The third density is it. You're stuck here. But for those who are awakened and are trying to seek more, that you can do what we did at the Adventure Trail Survival School. You can find dreams, discover those things, and then you can journal about those dreams. And then if you think that you found something that is a major problem that has kept you from having your energy so circuited into your frontal lobes, into the indigo ray energy center, then we would choose a person in our class, in our group, that to play the role of that person, that adult that told us that. And then, since we now know we have a right to stand up for ourselves, we could say, no, no, shout it, cry, whatever. And that did what the T.D. Lingo was the fellow who ran the school. He said that closed the synapse that had been created in your brain that drained away your energy so it would not go into your frontal lobes. So after I'd done that 3 times, and then in the preconscious state in sleep, we all had our lean-tos built out of sight on the mountain. So we were by ourselves. Then I felt a click at my indigo ray energy center. And I felt that my brain was circulating like a cyclotron. And I felt like an orgasm in my brain. So after that, every time I had the normal orgasm, I had an orgasm in my brain as well. So that is something I don't have to practice anymore. What I'm working on is trying to get into the violet ray so that I can actually become one with the creator. That's taking a bit longer.
What's the difference between those two things? Between indigo ray and violet ray, experiencing those?
Well, the violet ray, I would be the creator all the time. The indigo ray, only when it was activated.
Wow. Any follow-ups on that, Corey?
I wonder, is that something that a person could do themselves? I would feel real hesitant about any kind of practice if I didn't have somebody teaching me, as you did. You had someone that worked with you to have that breakthrough. Would you recommend that a person use other people, be with other people, or do you think that it would be safe to try to accomplish that on my own?
I think you could try it on your own. I mean, the theory is the same. You could use meditation. You work with dreams. Dreams for me were the most effective way of doing it. I don't know if I could have done it through meditation. But what we did before we went to sleep each night was to tell our subconscious mind that we wanted a dream that had relevance to our spiritual journey. And after a while of doing that, our subconscious mind could be convinced that we were serious if we did that every night, whether we had the dream or not. Just do it and do it and do it. Then we could begin using our dreams and finding out those information. And always, whatever dream you've got, write it down as soon as you get it. Wake up, write it down, go back to sleep, see if you get another dream. And then when you're awake the next day, interpret the dream. Get what your dream vocabulary is for you. Everybody's got a different vocabulary. Some dream analysis books have certain symbols or things for what a dream means, but each person has his or her own symbol. So write the dreams down, interpret them yourself, keep working for as long as necessary. It might take a while, but go ahead and give it a try. It was Lingo's thought that in the primal nature environment, you were not subject to the noise of traffic outside or fire signals or jets overhead. But, so wherever you are, do your best to use your dreams and see what happens.
I'll try it.
Great questions.
Thank you.
Jim, would you say the Kundalini experience is also very similar or the same as what you've been describing and working with the energy centers from red all the way up to indigo and violet?
I think so.
I have not had that experience myself, but I know a number of folks in the Law of One community have, and it seems similar. Andy, did you have a follow-up question on this subject?
Yeah, I'd like to know, like, how has the opening of these rays changed your life, your outlook, and like in general, and what do you perceive to be the benefits in like practical day-to-day life. I mean, you can't like put it on the CV and go, oh, give me a job, my chakras are open, or get a discount at the supermarket because your chakras, you know.
I am the one infinite creator. If that's not overqualified for the job, I don't know what is.
But yeah, it's not just a question for Jim, but like I'm just throwing it out as well. Like what do you perceive the benefits to be if you're generally a happy person anyway?
Well, I think anything that happens to you in your spiritual journey that's inspirational to you is something you can use as an energy to be of service to other people. You don't keep it for yourself, you share it with others. You look for any way you can be of service to others. I go out and get the paper from my neighbor every morning and put it on his doorstep because he's older. I don't want him to go out in the cold weather, in the snowy weather, in the icy weather. I go across the street from my neighbor and I put bird seed under her feeders so she doesn't have to do it because she's old too. Little things like that, anything that you can do to be of service, just make it your desire, your intention every day to use whatever energy you've got to serve others. Simple as that.
Beautifully put. Thank you so much. Jim, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask another follow-up question. This was sent in by someone in our Seattle Law of One Facebook group. You might have answered it already, but I'm just going to ask it on his behalf. This is for Dan, who said, in session 49, question 2 of the Raw Contact, you, Jim, told Ra that you had over 200 orgasms of the brain, and he's asking if you still have them.
Not in the same way. As I've gotten older, they've changed. In my meditations, the indigo ray energy center is activated, and I can feel that same energy. It just doesn't explode into an orgasm.
Wow. And is it similar or different to the orgasms that you had in sexual energy transfers with Carla? Did they feel very much the same, or do they feel very different?
My meditations, exercise.
Right. The orgasms in your brain that you had through solitary meditation, as opposed to the orgasms you had in your brain with Carla and sexual energy transfers.
Yeah, well, now they're about 1/5 of the energy of the explosion with Carla, and
yeah,
wow. This is just meditation, you know.
Yeah, something I would imagine that we all strive and hope to attain in the next lifetime, if not in this one. So, yeah, I really appreciate your sharing your experiences with us for sure. I did actually have another question that I wanted to ask on behalf of Claudel, who I believe is not able to join us today. This is about channeling and challenging. Claudel is asking, have there been cases where an entity does not pass the challenge and thus the instrument refused to channel it? If so, he just would love to hear details, like how did it feel? Were the entities able to introduce themselves still, or anything around that?
Well, as far as I know, in our channeling circles these days, that has not happened, to my knowledge. Nobody's mentioned that. Back, shortly after the Raw Contact, it would happen frequently for Carla. It happened a time or two for me, but that was like 40 years ago. So I don't think that's occurring these days. And I don't know why. I'm glad it's not occurring, but I don't know why.
Maybe just the repetition and the familiarity with that vibration, that vibe.
Well, it might also be because I do the Banishing Ritual, the Lesser Pentagram, in my living room every morning, and that's where we have our channeling sessions. And Gary, Austin, and Trish have their CC channeling sessions at Gary and Trish's, and Austin performs the Banishing Ritual there.
That makes sense. Yeah, thank you, Claudel. Hope that answers your question. I did have another question sent in by Brian, who's asking, and I will read that in his words. As the everlasting Duracell battery for the Raw Contact, what tips do you have for good vital energy?
Well, I try to keep my physical body in as good a shape as possible so that it can help me use my mind and my spirit in whatever way is helpful to other people. So I exercise my physical body with a daily speed walk of 1.25 miles. When I come back, I stretch. 3 days a week, I lift weights. In the evening, before I go to bed, I dance. And I have work in my yard and gardens, which sometimes is the greatest work I do because sometimes it takes 2 or 3 hours to do the work. Although we're in the off season now, so I'm not going to be doing so much of that outside. So I try to keep my body in good shape. I keep reading everything about the Law of One. Like I said, I've read it 42 times since Carla passed in larger life. And I read books like The Art of Meditation. I try to do what's suggested there. I just do everything I can to help people out. Basically, that's it.
So you think it is a combination of working with your physical body, working with your spirit, working with your mind?
And I try to eat well. I eat the same food every day. Some people would be bored by that. But to me, my quiche in the morning, black bean burritos lunch, and overstuffed baked potatoes for dinner is what I use every day. And I think my body likes it a lot. I mean, it hasn't told me it doesn't like it. So.
Yeah. I will repeat that for viewers who didn't catch that a few minutes ago. Jim said that he has read The Raw Contact 42 times, all the way through, beginning to end. That is amazing.
Since Carla passed away over 10 years ago. I read it before that too.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Wow.
4 times.
And you said that you still see different things every time you read it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't believe how that happens, but it does. It doesn't happen as often, but it still does.
Yeah. So beautiful. Such an inspiration for all of us. I do have a couple other questions sent in from our Facebook group, and if we have time, would love to get to them. But I know there's folks here on the Zoom call who have been waiting to ask questions also. So Josh, I see Josh and Neely and Morris and Prajwal, and there's probably more after that. Josh, did you want to unmute your mic and ask Jim your question?
Sure, thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jim. Thank you for doing this. Quick question. I watched a podcast yesterday that had made some interesting arguments. So I'm curious to ask you, do you believe that we landed on the moon and humans walked on the moon?
I think they did. I don't know. I mean, how do I know? But the question that I've always wondered is, that happened where? Back 20 years ago? Anyway, why didn't we keep going? Why didn't we go further? Why did we stop? So I don't know if we landed on the moon. And if we did, why did we just stop there?
Was there a particular reason for that question, Josh? Are you skeptical or?
I never really questioned it too much, but last night I watched a podcast from Jesse Michaels, American Alchemy. He interviewed Joe Rogan actually, and they had on a guy who had done tons of research, both of those guys on other episodes of their podcast, who made some compelling arguments. Especially there's video of Neil Armstrong and I guess Buzz Aldrin and the third guy did a press release right after, and people analyzed their body language, and it's pretty clear from the video. Like, it seems something strange. I haven't made a conclusion myself, but I recommend people watch the podcast. It was very interesting.
Appreciate your asking. Yeah, well, there was, of course, the mention. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there was, of course, the mention of moon bases and undersea bases.
What Jonathan said.
Rock contact.
Why are you?
And yeah, generally, I think in our Q&As and in our study groups, we really try to focus more on enduring spiritual principles and try not to get too caught up in what has been referred to as transient things that might seem really cool and weird and freaky now, but probably won't really have much meaning 100 or 1,000 years from now. Appreciate the question for sure. Neely, did you have a question you wanted to ask?
Yes, I did. Hey, Jim, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you for answering all of our questions so patiently, month after month. I really appreciate it. So a dear friend of mine who's also on the call today is helping me build a pyramid to meditate inside. And I was wondering if you, Don and Carla, had this kind of structure. Did you meditate in it? Did you feel any difference in your meditation experience if you did it?
I built one out in our yard during the raw contact, and Ross said it was built well. It wasn't focused to 20 degrees east of north like the symbols were in the raw contact. And since the raw contact, I've made little pyramids. This one I made outside the where we lived during raw contact had 10-foot poles, 10-foot sides. So I've had a little 6-foot one over the years, and I've noticed I haven't used it recently, but when I did use it a few years ago, it seemed to cut down on the thoughts that would come into my mind. So I thought it was very helpful that way. But more, what I've done is use a little pyramid in bed under my pillow when I wake up. I haven't done that for a while either, but that also seemed to help me meditate before I would get out of bed with less thoughts in disturbing my meditation.
Thank you. And do you still turn it to the right direction, or is it okay to? Because I suck at directions. Is it okay if it's just being inside the structure or having the pyramid underneath my pillow at whatever angle it is directed?
Well, I don't think it matters much if you put it under your pillow, what direction it's going, because you're using the energy that are coming out of the top of the pyramid. But when you're inside the pyramid, I think it does make a difference. So then you would need to make it 20 degrees east of north.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Elaine, did you have a follow-up question?
Yes, thank you. Jim, when you have the pyramid under your pillow, do you not have to limit the amount of time? Because I seem to remember maybe in the raw contact that if we did it more than 20 to 30 minutes, it might even be harmful. Is that true?
Thank you for mentioning that. That is very true. I should have mentioned that. The time limit is 30 minutes. That if you would use it more than 30 minutes, you would over energize yourself and you would start to feel tired and not energized.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because I set a timer when I put the the pyramid under my pillow just in case I might like fall asleep with it.
That's a good idea.
And be there too long. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Thank
you. Thank you for reminding me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you indeed, Elaine. Prajwal, I saw that you had several questions in the chat window, but one of them was specifically about the Giza pyramid. As long as we're on the subject of pyramids, would you like to unmute your mic and ask Jim that question?
Yes, yes, Jonathan, thank you. I have several questions. So recently on 21st of December in India, we celebrated World Meditation Day. During that time, synchronously grew. There is a guy called Brahma Rishi Patriji. He has started this movement in India, and they are also taking group meditation to next level. And they are conducting events. I just wanted to ask OG Jim, how many times has he visited Egypt with his buddies in his day? Yeah.
None. Sorry, I haven't made it to Egypt yet.
None. Okay. It would be great if you have,
So you said you are planning a trip there yourself, Prajwal?
If you get $1 billion now, what service to others and service to self activity will you do for the world? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. There are so many people in the world that need help. Well, what I do right now with what I've got, whenever I hear that there's been a flood in Kentucky or tornadoes or fires, I donate to the Red Cross because they go wherever there's a need. for food, for shelter, and they do a really wonderful job. I also donate to the Family Scholar House here in Louisville. They have a large building that holds about 400 women that have been abused. They're single women have been abused by their husbands. They need shelter, they need clothes, they need food, they need education so they can support their child or their children. So I donate to that on a monthly basis. So I do what little I can do. If I had $1 billion, I'd try to do that all over the world or all over Kentucky. You know, I mean, I don't know how far $1 billion can go. Just try to help people.
It's a great question. Thank you, Jim. I believe we got time for one more question. And Andy, I saw you had a question.
Well, okay. Yeah, I'll go if there's no other questions. I'm wondering, like, how do you get your head around, like, you know, when Quo says that all things are neutral and all things are equal, right? And like so for instance, sorry for being crass. Let's say I sneeze and I pee myself and I have to change my pants, right? Is that the same as like a tornado blowing through my village and everyone then has to change their house? Like, is that, you know, because neutral is neutral. There's no thing that's like more neutral than another thing, right? And so how do you get your head around that? And is that the same in the eyes of the creator? And if it is, then what is it in us that puts value and proportion on things? And what's the purpose of that then, you know, having judgment and proportion? Or are we just sort of enacting, you know, stories and moralities that have been passed down?
That's a great question. What do you think, Jim?
I think that everything you're talking about falls under the general description of catalyst. It's all catalyst. It might be greater catalyst, it might be smaller catalyst, but all catalyst is neutral in that it teaches you to use it in order to grow. In order to grow, it means you're going to change. Change is painful. But when you can grow, you are a greater being because of having used the catalyst that came to you.
Does it answer your question, Andy?
Yeah, I think so. I just need to figure out what am I catalyzing towards.
Yeah, well, think about that the next time you sneeze and pee yourself. That will be great fodder for meditation, I'm sure. I think we are about at the end of our time for today. So I know there are still some questions that didn't get asked, and I know Morris had a question also that didn't get to ask, and he might be able to do that during our pop quiz, because we do have, of course, that one last thing to do. Pop quiz, of course, is something we like to do at the end of our time together, just to kind of end our otherwise serious conversations on a lighter note and maybe look for Law of One connections in pop culture. Jim, as surely as the galactic clock face has moved from third density to fourth, planet Earth, of course, has moved from Earth calendar year 2025 to 2026. So in honor of that, and since we are recording this on the first Saturday of January, I'm going to ask you some questions about New Year's traditions around the world. See how many you can answer correctly. Jim, go ahead, say your answers out loud so our viewers can hear. Folks on the Zoom call, feel free to put your answers in the chat window so we can see who gets the highest score. And you who are watching this on video, go ahead, say your answers out loud so we can hear you through time space. As always, the points don't matter. If you had fun, you won. If you learned something new about weird New Year's traditions on this weird planet, you won as well. Are you ready for your first question, Jim?
I'm ready.
Question 1. In ancient Babylon, New Year's Day was celebrated on the first new moon after what? Was it A, winter solstice, B, vernal or spring equinox, C, summer solstice, or D, autumn or fall equinox?
A, winter solstice.
Good guess. I believe that is how we got the New Year's traditions that we have now. But no, apparently in ancient Babylon, 4,000 years ago, it was after the vernal equinox. I guess they considered the first day of spring to be first day of the new year, which I guess kind of makes sense.
Really?
Are you up on Babylon at all, Jim? You know anything about the history of the Babylonian Empire?
No, not at all. So they were 6 months behind or ahead?
That's a good question. I don't know. I only know about Babylon from the time it's actually been mentioned in a few channeling sessions as one of many empires that have risen and fallen over the years. I found a super interesting passage on this that I'm not sure if you've seen before, but I thought it worth sharing with our viewers. This was from September 27th, 2008. Quo said, due to the natural tendency of those upon a certain path to incarnate in bunches, shall we say, you have before you now a large group of entities who have worked together, always fighting for position, but bearing enough amity towards each other to conspire to control the population of your planet and to bend all things to their will. They have done this before. These entities have been faces at the banquet in Babylon, in Rome, in the Holy Roman Empire, and the Third Reich, and now. There are other cycles of service to self-entities in other cultures, and those who rode with Genghis Khan ride now with your Eastern countries, such as China, Korea, Japan, India, Pakistan, Israel, and Syria. The list can go on. Super fascinating passage. Do you remember anything like this, Jim? This was from 2008. That was obviously a long time ago.
No, I don't remember it at all.
I think there might have been one or two other sessions I've seen where they made references to entities reincarnating in bunches, but super trippy to imagine the entities that we see now in charge of our political economic systems having done this over and over in previous empires. Which of course begs the question, do you think you and Don and Carla have worked together many times in previous incarnations before this one?
Ross said we had. And I'm sure we did.
I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Yeah.
What a beautiful thing to contemplate. And what a beautiful thing to contemplate how many people on this Zoom call or in Law of One study groups have worked together also in those times to bring light to the world.
I'm sure everybody's a wanderer. They've been through all of this before.
And hopefully doing it better each time. Are you ready for your second question?
Yes, I'm ready.
In Italy, it is a common tradition to do what on New Year's Day? Is it A, eat 12 grapes in 12 seconds, B, enter the home with a silver coin, or C, wear red underclothing?
Eat 12 grapes in 12 seconds with red underclothing and enter the home with I'll go with wear red underclothing.
Wow, that's pretty good. You are correct. Yeah, very good.
Oh, I got one.
They're all true. Apparently, the 12 grapes in 12 seconds is a New Year's tradition in Spain, and in Scotland and northern England, it's called the first foot. The first foot is the first person to enter the home on New Year's Day and is seen as a bringer of fortune, good or bad, in the coming year. If the first person into your home comes in empty-handed, that's kind of a bad omen. But someone who's good at it would bring a selection of gifts for the household, including a silver coin, a pastry, salt, coil, drink, whiskey, anything representing the good things that you want in the coming year. Which brings up the question, do you have any New Year's traditions, Jim? Anything that you like to do on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, or is it same as any other day?
No, I have a Christmas tradition, though.
What's that?
For those of you who have not been in my home, here in the kitchen, there are shelves above the, they have crystal, china, and silver on them. And every time that Carla had her family, her two brothers, come here with their families, she asked me to clean them all so that they would have clean china to work with. So every Christmas I do that. And it takes about 6 loads in the dishwasher to clean all the dishes and the crystal. And then I use Tarnix to clean the silver. So that's my ritual for Christmas. But I don't have one for New Year's.
So beautiful. Linda, I had seen in the chat window that Morris had a question about New Year's, and I was kind of holding off until the pop quiz. Is he there, or do you know what his question was about New Year's?
The question was whether Jim and Carla had any special rituals on New Year's Eve or on New Year's Day.
Nope. Short answer.
One more follow-up question, Jim. Do you have any red underclothing? Are you wearing it now?
No, I don't have any red underclothing.
Neither do I. Last question. I'm surprised we haven't asked this in all the Q&As before this, but what underwear do you wear, Jim? Boxers or briefs? Or boxer briefs? Or commando?
Commando. Because when I went down to Florida in 1972 to Gainesville to join Teacher Corps, I discovered I did wear underwear then, but I had a rash, a red rash. And the way I got rid of it was not to wear the underwear. That was the cure. So ever since then, I don't wear underwear.
Wow. Oh, that is so cool. Viewers, you heard it here first. And you will probably never hear it again.
But what if you sneeze and pee yourself? Does that mean you have to change your trousers?
I don't pee myself.
Oh. Oh, you've not had babies.
What a terrible, inappropriate question to ask, Andy. Good heavens.
Sorry. Everyone did. I thought everyone over the age of 50 does it.
I will admit I pee a lot. And my primary care physician is attempting to work on that. See if we can pee a little less. And I don't know how it works because I don't drink that much liquid.
It's just age, my friend. Just age. Are you ready for your last question?
Oh, yeah.
Your last question. True or false? In China, it is considered unlucky to clean your home on New Year's Day.
True.
What do you think? True or false?
I said true.
Oh, sorry. I missed it. Yeah, you're right. It is true. If I was guessing, I would have guessed false. I would have thought it would be considered a good thing to clean your house on the first day. But apparently, according to Chinese superstition, you don't want to clean your house or do laundry on New Year's Day because you'll like sweep away or wash away all the good luck that has been bestowed upon you. So January 2nd apparently is an okay day, but not January 1st. Weird thing. I don't know. You think there's anything in the law of one, Jim, about New Year's Day being anything special about making a complete trip around the sun? That superstition to me doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
I think so.
It is always surprising to me, though, when I have learned that among those who believe in superstitions, the whole garlic and vampires thing, apparently that is a superstition. That is true. Viewers, if you are not aware of that, can you tell viewers a little bit about that, Jim? Like what's the garlic ritual as shared with us by Ra and the Ra contact?
I don't know why, but they said that negative entities would not appreciate garlic. So it was one of the things we did to protect our home, especially when we moved to the lake house just outside of Cumming, Georgia.
Indeed. And did you do the salt ritual as well?
Yeah. I did them both at midnight. That's when I got there. I was the first one there with the first truck of our belongings.
Wow. Yeah, I have done the garlic ritual and the salt ritual in my place of residence and seems to have helped, at least I think, cleanse the space. Viewers, if you're interested, if you go to the LNL Research website, click on the Raw Contact tab at the top, and then scroll down a ways, you'll see protection rituals. And if you click on that, there are a number of rituals, including the Banishing Ritual, which we mentioned before, which is explained how to do if you wish to cleanse your space of negative entities or energies. Jim, as always, it's been a pleasure and a joy and a privilege to hang out with you. Did you have any last thoughts or reflections wanted to share before we say goodbye?
Well, you know what I'm going to say. Because we meet every month, we are a spiritual family, a little social memory complex. And it gives me the greatest love and joy to feel your vibrations, to listen to your questions, to try to answer them with my opinion. And these are connections we make with each other that will last forever. And every time we get together, those connections get stronger and stronger. Your beautiful souls, your beautiful hearts are like music to my heart. And I love every one of you. I thank you for every question. Thank you for your beingness. Every moment you exist, those connections exist between us. Thank you for being the best spiritual family I could ever hope for.
And even though we know you're going to say it, we love hearing you say it in slightly different ways every time. We love you so much, and it is always such a joy and a privilege to hang out with you, as is for all our friends in Law of One study groups. You will find also the more you meet with fellow seekers in whatever group that you're part of, the more you will find those same loving connections to be made as well. Jim, thank you as always for all you've done and continue to do in service to others. Thank you to all the friends at L&L Research for all they do and continue to do in service to others. To all who joined us on the Zoom call today, thank you for all you've done and continue to do in service to others. And to you who are watching this on video at some time in the near, perhaps very distant future, thank you for all you've done and continue to do in service to others. We are sending you our love light, and we are receiving yours. Until next time, in the love and light of the one infinite creator. Adonai, namaste.